Some thoughts, and also thank you for inviting me for several years to be a kind of a teacher in the course. So congratulations to Law and Human Rights Center for organizing this for 5 years. I hope it will continue for many more years. And congratulations to all who have completed the course as well. And it was nice to listen to three of you. I understood from the last two what you had to say. But I also thought that it would be nice to hear from some of you after 1 year or after 2 years. Not how the course was, but how you were able to use the course. After you have got the certificate and got the medals and got the awards. Good chance to do an assessment of for LHRC as organizer, what has the impact been? Of having doing this course for so long, for 5 years. It's a lot of investment. Again, not in terms of how many people have studied the course, how many men, women, how many Tamils, Muslims or Sinhalese like that, but how the course has contributed to the promotion and protection of human rights. I think that's the actual test that we need to look at. So for y'all, I think the learning in the class is completed. That's why you will get a certificate and award. But I think the learning human rights will continue. And that will continue in our life, ordinary life, and by our practice. And that will continue hopefully with your involvement in the promotion and protection of human rights. I think human rights can be compared to driving a car or any vehicle or riding a bike. There's part of it we learn in the classroom. So before you get the driving license or riding license, we have to do examination. But actual learning is not through that. No, the actual learning is after we get onto the bike and start riding. Or start getting to the car and start driving. So that is where we actually learn. So I think for human rights also it is like that. It's now that you have a bigger opportunity to learn. And I want to share about 5 levels that I think you can do that. The first is a more philosophical, conceptual, ideological way. So I think at least one friend, or 2 friends actually from the police, shared that they had some changes in their mind about human rights and about their relationship with ordinary people. That's a philosophical change. That's a different understanding. Some others share that we have rights. We have to understand our rights, but we also have to understand our responsibility to protect the rights of others and to promote rights in general. Sometimes we think that human rights is for some people, but I think here itself we understood that human rights is for all. I think, again, referring to the police, I think many of the complaints the Human Rights Commission gets, and even fundamental rights cases to the Supreme Court, it's about police officers who feel their rights have been violated. Okay. So even they also have rights, not to violate the rights of others, but they also have rights. I remember once, many years ago, I made a complaint to the Human Rights Commission for harassing me against some police officers. So at the inquiry at the Human Rights Commission in Colombo, the officer in charge, OIC, also came. So after the inquiry, then the officer in charge was speaking to me, and he said, I also have a complaint with the Human Rights Commission, but in that case I am not the respondent, I am the complainant. As a human rights defender, can you also help me a little bit? So we all have rights. Maybe some of you may have heard that there are some people from Myanmar who are actually stateless. They are not Sri Lankan, who are now detained in Mullaitivu for about 7 months. So the Human Rights Commission has been involved, Mr. Kanagaraj, but also some people in the head office in trying to look at their rights. That is because they also have rights, although they are not Sri Lankan citizens, they are here. So the Human Rights Commission and people like me and others are also concerned about their rights. So rights is for all, not only for a particular group. So that's, I think, one example of the conceptual, ideological clarity that we must have, and I think that is what must be taken forward. Another idea that I want to mention as an example of this philosophical conceptual side is We think, sometimes some people think that some rights violations are okay. I have heard, not ordinary people, some journalists, some religious leaders saying that if people who are selling drugs, using drugs, or if they are terrorists, it is okay to kill them, or it is okay to torture them. But human rights teaches us they also have rights, not to do illegal things. If they do illegal things, like selling drugs, or using weapons illegally, then we have to take legal action, but not violating their rights. So those are, I think, some conceptual, philosophical things we need to change through human rights. Then laws and policies are very important. I think there was a reference to learning about laws. Someone said that they learned about human rights laws. Sri Lankan law, but Sri Lanka is also party to many international human rights laws. I think my class, was part of my class is also about sharing about some international laws with you all. Now, one example of a law that is in Sri Lanka is the Prevention of Terrorism Act, PTA. That is a law that often serves as a license to violate human rights, not to protect human rights. But laws are meant to protect human rights, not to violate human rights. So we must be mindful about laws that might violate human rights. And we must promote laws that will protect human rights. Similarly, policies of various state institutions and state policies. The third part of, I think, taking forward, the third level of taking forward your learnings is engaging with institutions. The judiciary is a very important institution. I'm sure you would have learned about filing fundamental rights cases. But not only that, even filing writs and various other forms of engagements is very important. And also is perfect. The Human Rights Commission is not always perfect. Like our own organizations and like ourselves, we are also not perfect. But we must engage with them critically because often they can help us. And I have received a lot of help and support when I was in trouble, from Mr. Kanagaraj personally, but also from other staff of the Human Rights Commission. Many people have got relief from the Supreme Court when their rights were violated. Some have not got. So we also have frustrations, anger at the way institutions function, but I think we must continue to engage with these institutions and not reject them. The social political sphere is also important. So we must continue our activities on the streets. We must continue to participate in organized protests. We must use media, old media or new media, but we must also have dialogues with state officials. Dialogue and discussion is also an important part of protecting human rights. So we must use all these spaces. And we must also, fifth level I think is we must constantly engage with survivors, victim families and affected communities. So we must accompany them, we must be present with them when they are suffering and in their struggles, irrespective of whether it's in court, whether in prison, by visiting them if necessary, or in the streets, or in their houses. Our engagement with survivors, victim families is very important to take forward our learning. So receiving a certificate or medal is not the end of learning about human rights. There's no point in keeping your certificate on a pedestal and lighting a lamp and worshipping. I think I said that last time as well. So the test of our learning is our practice. And I think the most important indicator will be how much you will be involved in the promotion and protection of human rights. And each of us can be involved in different ways. Teachers can be involved in different ways. Students can be involved in different ways. Police officers in different ways. Lawyers in different ways. Journalists in different ways. Artists in different ways. So all of us can find our own way of being involved in promoting and protecting human rights. So I think you refer to me as a teacher or instructor or lecturer. That is in the past, in the class, and that is today that will finish. So in the future, I hope we will be colleagues. I hope we will be comrades. Fellow human rights defenders, brothers and sisters, in promoting and protecting human rights. So I hope to meet you in the streets, or in court, or in a prison, or in many places like that. So all the best to you.